Okay, folks, Andrew Boltbros here. I want to do a quick video. I know we talked quite a bit about free agents coming up, so I want to do a quick video on the defensive free agents. There's actually 10 I want to talk about. But of course, as we know, Jim Harbaugh is the guy that we keep talking about moving forward. Again, everything I've seen moving forward about the Chargers, getting him almost sounds like it's a bit of a lock. You never know. You never know, folks. And hey, what a disappointing season it is. But a guy like this could really turn around the Bolts and make us a contender again. So, guys, let's talk about free agents. Let's talk about what's next for the Chargers. Should we smash means keep them, or dash means ditch them moving forward? That's how it's going to play out. All right, guys, let's get into it. Bull Bros! Okay, guys, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I'm Andrew Boltbros. First one up real quick is Nick Williams. Nick Williams, I'm going to say smash, man. I mean, honestly, he's pretty cheap. I think we only paid $1 million for him, so we got him very cheap. And look, I think you could re-sign him for maybe around the same amount, another $1 million. Again, you want veteran presence on your defensive line. Did he do great? I think it was just about as good as Austin Johnson, who came from the Giants also, just like Nick Williams. But I do think Nick Williams is going to be a good veteran presence. Again, he's not amazing, but, he's got some nastiness. He's got some dog in him. So I would say we want to smash. Now, Austin Johnson, on the other hand, we need to dash. We paid that gentleman. He was our third highest player on the team. We paid him $9.5 million this year. A lot of money. A lot of money. Dead cap was $9.5 million, right? So, and again, with his injury he had last year, look, love that he came back, but, you got to let him go. Unfortunately, the injury bug has got him. And again, this is sort of where people start saying, okay, well, what do you think? What do you think? And $9.5 million, a lot of money, folks. Right. And so, I think it's time to move on from Austin Johnson. But I think Nick Williams is someone you should re-sign. You can sign him very cheap. Another defensive lineman. Again, we got Matlock. Matlock looks pretty good. So, obviously pick somebody up in the draft again, maybe work on CJ Okoye if those are the people moving forward. But defensive line, I think you got to re-sign Nick Williams. I think he's definitely someone you could get cheap. And, there for depth, veteran presence as well. Another guy is Justin Holland. I actually like Justin Holland. Justin Holland is actually pretty inexpensive. I think we we barely are paying him any money, if I remember correctly. I'm just trying to see how much we're paying him. It was around $1 million, right? So really cheap. And again, I don't even think it's $1 million. I think that we picked him up off waivers, so he's just paying he's getting league minimum at the moment. So you could re-sign him as well as a depth piece, and then if you don't, maybe draft a few guys. And if you like some of these edge rushers over him, you say, great, we're just going to go with the rookie. We're going to release him. He'll get picked up by somebody else. So I think you want to smash this guy as well. I mean, because look, you need depth. We're probably going to trade away Bosa. We're probably going to trade away Williams. Who knows? Maybe even Khalil Mack. I mean, Khalil Mack has a ton of value right now, guys. I mean, think about that for a second. He's got a ton of value. So you can trade him away and get a lot for him as well, too. So, there's a lot to be said about a lot of this as well, too. So anyways, I would definitely say smash this one because you could get him cheap. You could get him cheap. Again, I'm also a believer, yes, you need rookies, but you also need veteran presence. And this guy has a veteran presence. So anyways, I think you could get him cheap, $1 million, $1.5 million, league minimum. I think you keep him. Kenneth Murray. Okay. There was a comment that popped up on my last comment about Kenneth Murray and Derwin James. The thing about Kenneth Murray is the only reason why I like the concept of Kenneth Murray is kind of like a Jim Harbaugh guy. He's a very focused person on the run game. Horrible at coverage. My only prediction with Kenneth Murray is I'm kind of in the middle with him. Mostly I would say dash, let him go. But I think I'm in the middle because if you get a Jim Harbaugh might like Kenneth Murray because what he really will be, he'll be the downfield, get to the quarterback, get to the running back, blitzing linebacker. I just up the middle. I can see that really being him. That's what he's good at. He's not good at coverage at all. And I think you got to move on, in that regard. But again, if we get Harbaugh, I do think Kenneth Murray could make sense to be re-signed. You could re-sign him pretty inexpensively as well, too. I mean, probably maybe a 2-year, $3 million guaranteed per year or something like that, right? I mean, nothing like Eric Kendricks is getting paid. Again, my thought is we should also trade Kendricks away. That's another little tidbit I think we should do as well. But anyways, I think Kenneth Murray, I'm a little bit in the middle with him. I think it just depends on who the GM is and who the head coach is going to be. Tanner Muse. I really like Tanner Muse. I think he's a very good linebacker depth piece. He's also extremely good at special teams. He's very good at special teams. One of the best tacklers on our team. I think you could keep him because you could keep him pretty cheap. He's not expensive. I mean, probably league minimum again, $1 million, $1.5 million. Again, it's one thing to say, hey, we need players, but it's another thing to say, hey, look, we can get players for cheap, right? And this is a player for cheap type of guy, a depth piece, not the best, not the, biggest amount of dollars right here, but I think you could get him, and I think you'd be in good shape with him moving forward. Again, it takes a lot of pieces to have a successful team, folks. And the thing about Tanner Muse is he's an extremely good tackler, very good at special teams, as I already discussed, and he's a good linebacker piece as well, too. So I would say you want to smash and not dash this guy for sure. Okay, let's get into the real nitty gritty, folks. Let me just give you an example. Mike Davis, again, right next to Austin Johnson, $9.4 million is what we paid him this year. Ask yourself this question: is he worth $9.4 million? The answer is no. And so you got to let him go. Let him go. I don't know what he's going to get anywhere else. I mean, dead cap money was $9 million, folks. So you got to let him go. And it's tough, right? You look at him and say to yourself, okay, what do we do? What do we do? I mean, I like Mike Davis. Mike Davis is a good corner to some degree, but his tackling is so poor. So if we were to get Harbaugh, as we're hoping, no chance he stays with the Chargers. I just think there's absolutely zero chance. His tackling is not good, and he's not worth the money. So you gotta dash this guy for sure. And then Eang Bassi. Bassi, I would say you want to keep him as well too, right? I think we only have him for let's see, Eang Bassi, we're paying him $785,000 a year. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Peanuts. Keep him. He's a decent tackler. I think there's some things that need to work with his, coverage game. Again, he was actually doing very well with the Broncos in preseason, killing it. And then he just kind of struggled during the season. And that's why he was waived. He just made a couple kind of bad plays. But bottom line, I think he's a very good young player that you can develop and work on. If nothing else, maybe move him in another practice squad. It is what it is, right? You need depth, right? But for $785,000, that is nothing. That is nothing, folks. So I think that's a smart move. And then Jaylen Hawkins. Jaylen Hawkins, let's see what he's getting paid. Right around the same amount. Actually, he's getting paid about $1 million. So he's getting paid a little bit more money. And here's the thing about Jaylen Hawkins. He's $1.3 million is what he's getting paid. So he actually got a signing bonus of around $690,000. So again, he was actually a pretty solid player for the Falcons. I really like him. I think he's a good safety, nice little depth piece. I think he's worth keeping, right? So you want to smash him as well. Again, he's still a younger player. He still has plenty of talent behind him. I think he still has the opportunity to do a good job with this team. And again, guys, I'm also in a little bit of favor of trading away Derwin James, maybe even Khalil Mack. I know that's not a very popular conversation, but guys, whoever comes in is going to shake things up, man. And Jaylen Hawkins, at least as a depth piece, you could get, right? Then you bring in a rookie. We already got JT Woods still. I think there's a lot to be said about that, right? So, a lot to be said. Dean Marlowe. Okay, guys, let me just say something about Dean Marlowe. Dean Marlowe, we have for real cheap. Again, and he is one of the highest ranked safeties on our team. I think we actually have him set as, and again, part of this is also when they were picked up off waivers, right? So it's sort of a scale, right? We're picked up halfway through the season. They're only getting half of the salary that we're potentially paying them. But Dean Marlowe, I think, is getting paid about $1 million a year, if I remember correctly. He's not getting paid a whole lot of money. So again, Dean Marlowe is another guy you want to smash. I mean, look, the defense has pieces. The problem is they were put in bad positions to be successful. We just never got a rhythm. They didn't communicate properly. There were so many people in and out in certain positions, right? And again, but Dean Marlowe did a good job. He's also done a very good job on special teams too. And he's a veteran presence, right? So again, you still need where Brandon Staley, I think, failed in some cases. I think he wanted all these veterans to be the number one players, and he was going to have these rookies just sit there and watch. I think a lot of the veterans got a little soft and started saying, "Hey, oh, I'm not going to sit. I'm going to play, so I don't really have to work very hard at what I'm doing." And that's where I think you sort of struggle with a guy like that, right? And I feel like with Dean Marlowe specifically, I mean, he's a strong safety, right? I think we're only paying $783 million or $83,000. So very cheap. Keep him as well. And to wrap it up, Gilman. Okay, you guys already know what I'm going to say, and I'll tell you, Gilman. I think we're only paying him. Let's see, Gilman. I think he's only getting paid like what is it? $1 million, right? So again, you could probably maybe make that 2 or 3 million, maybe $3 million if you really want to keep him around, keep him happy. But Gilman is cheap. And again, he hasn't played a whole lot, guys, right? So we're seeing just a little bit of what he's capable of doing. You got to re-sign this guy. You got to smash him for sure. So, guys, what do you think of my list? I mean, again, this is the 10 defensive players. What's your general thoughts? Am I way off? Agree, disagree with me? What do you guys think? You let me know what you guys think. I really want to hear your thoughts. Again, some tough decisions, guys. I'm still thinking all these other big names are on the table. Again, next year, Khalil Mack is set to get $30 million, right? Keenan Allen said to get a lot of money next year. Mike Williams said to get a lot of money. Joey Bosa is getting a lot of money. Derwin James is getting a lot of money, right? So, there's a lot of money out there, but a lot to discuss on that, guys. So, guys, what do you think? Andrew Bopros, see you guys in the next one.